Everyone. Hope you all are doing great. So, in the last class, we have discussed about the table creation in the SQL, right? So, let me just open the SQL plus. Yes, so it's a username, password. Once we give the username and password, so in the last class we have successfully created the two tables, and let me just and we have inserted some records. So let's see that one. Select star from EMP. Okay, so first we will see the EMP table and what are the records we have inserted. So these are the records, six records we have inserted in the EMP table, and the next one is department table, right? DPT table. So let me, what are the records we have inserted in the DPT table? We have to see now. Select star from DPT. Okay, so we have just inserted three records in this DPT table. Department number, D name, and location. In the EMP table, we have records for five columns: EMP number, EMP name, salary, which is nothing but double and higher date, and the department number. In DPT, we have only three columns, right? So now we have to be coming to the programming part, and yesterday we have seen in the notepad like how to execute a program and how to get the connection. So we have done. Today we have to be we will write the program in Eclipse ID, right? It takes a time, it will take a time, but when you open it, so let me just open it, and when you open it first time, it will ask the what it will ask, a workspace, right? So I whatever the workspace you want to use, and in whatever the drive you want to put in, select for the workspace. So you can, so I just mention this workspace name as you can see, ADV JAVA advanced Java. Okay, so I put this workspace in my D drive. Okay, so wherever you feel it is comfortable, you can just put in that drive. And so, what is workspace? When you are working with the Eclipse or STS, okay, it is nothing but a directory or folder where you can store a project, right? So that's workspace. In future, if you want to open, you can open it, and if you want to open all your projects, what need to be open in the workspace, all the projects which are available. Okay, so let me just show you in here it in my D drive. Okay, why it's not getting open? Yeah, here it is in the D drive. Okay, so this is my workspace name. It's a folder, right? So when you click this, this is my project name, JDBC 04. Okay, and this is the source. Now the source is empty. When we create the classes and the packages, we can see that. Now we are going to be do that one. Okay, so here now you completely understand like what is the workspace, right? Where we can store it, and what is the workspace. Okay, when you are when you are, it is used to store a project, so that is nothing but the workspace. Okay, whenever you want, you can open the workspace, and which is available. Once you write the program, you can see that in the source, right? So you can practice or store all your projects in Eclipse ID workspace, right? Or you can differentiate, you can mention this what JDBC application workspace in the separate workspace, like in the E drive or F drive or C drive. Okay, so you can mention that one as well. JDBC application in the separate workspace, JSP and the servlet applications in the separate workspace. Okay, if you want to keep it in some other workspace, you can, or you can keep it in one place. Okay, so let's continue. Yesterday we have done what we have done. Yes, yesterday, we have seen, we have installed the Eclipse, and we have the Microsoft Office, as well as our Oracle database server, we have already seen, like just now we have created the table, and the we have two tables already. In the last class we have created, and we have seen how many records in that. I think you know the basic steps for writing the Java programs in Eclipse, STS, right? And let me tell you, the Eclipse and STS both are same. Okay, so both are same. We'll continue. Okay, sometime you may not get the project here. Okay, here you can see here. Suppose if it is a close, and you don't if you see like this, okay, there is no project, no project here in the left hand side. So what we have to do in that time, so just go to the uh, like file. Okay, new. Here you can see the Java project. Okay, if you don't see here any Java project on that time, what you have to do, you have to go to the other, and here you have to select the project and click on the next. So it will appear, and you will get this type of pop-up where you can give the project name. Okay, so now I have already project, and in future, like what you will do. Okay, so so just now we have seen this. It is giving me the Java project where I can create the. But what happened if you want to go to the Java Enterprise on that time? It is not possible to show. It is not possible to show you. Anyhow, I can tell you how to create this one. So I have selected the one Java project. You have to be give here project name. So suppose if you give the project name like this. Okay, 04 hyphen JDBC. So we are working on the JDBC, so that's why I given the JDBC. And okay, so as select, as we are working for the select operation, so let me give this select. What is select spelling? Okay, select, and here uh, by default it is Java SC17 and module is checked. But here, can you see any option next or finish to create the project or no? Even if you uncheck the module, you can see. But what if you don't do this? But here you can see create the Java project. It is saying that invalid module name 04. So you know this basic rules, right? So project name cannot be numeric in the beginning. So for that purpose, we can try to give the any other different name which is acceptable. Okay, so here the thing, let me just give this as a JDBC 04. JDBC 04. A project with this name is already exist. So let me just give this select. Yeah, select. Okay. Now I'm getting this option next and finish. Okay, so this is the way that you have to be create the project. So you have to be check whether it is giving the name, module name, or so you have to be look into this one. Now I, in the left hand side, I have to be get the project, and how you will do that. Okay, so you come to know what is the invalid identifier, right? Identifier rule, we cannot use the numeric in the beginning. So how it allows, so you have wrote the JDBC 04. So my project name is JDBC 04, and it allows the next option. So just now we have seen, so I'm expecting the project name on the left side. Okay, it has to be showing the left side. Something how it is not showing now, how you have to be call the project. So you have to be go to the this option, Windows, and show view. Here in the show view, project explorer thing, right? Project explorer. Once you click that, you can see in the left side your project details. Okay, so here what you have to do in this left side, you the like you got your project here. And let me increase the font size. Okay, how to increase that? Like I have to again go to the windows and select this preferences. In this preferences you can select the option like here. Here you can see, right, table and font for view. So click on this edit option. Here I just put is this UI and semi bold, or I'll just keep it as a semi bold. Again, the letters would be more bold. It looks like a bold. So let me just put it 12. 12, I guess it is enough. So click on OK. Click on the apply and close. Okay, yeah. Now it is somewhat better that we can see a little bit the size is increased. Okay, if you don't want to give any name, then if you don't want to increase, that is also fine. But here I have done this. Okay, now what we have to be do? We have give like I'm expect here. I got my project and I have increased this size, and now what I will do, I'll just create the package. Okay, so for creating the package, you have to be select the src. In this src, select the class here. So this is a package, right? So if you don't give any name, so it will go to the default package of Java. Okay, which is nothing but java.lang. It's your class. Okay, java.lang your class, and it will not fit in the java.lang. It's a predefined package, not the user defined package. Okay, so it is a predefined package. So on that time, you can give any name. So I'll give the com dot. Okay, so I'll just give this vanitha.it, and our class name, this is a class name. I'll give select underscore emp. Okay, so we are performing the select operation, and if you want to select a main method, so you can select it here. Otherwise you can directly click on the finish. Now here you got this type of. Okay, so tell me, if you want to select a main method, okay, is it mandatory to load the driver or optional? So it is optional, so we are not writing it, right? So the second step, like we have to be established the connection. Okay, and here main control space. Okay, now we have to be, it is not mandatory that we have to be established the connection. So what optional is, loading the driver is optional. Now we have to be establish the connection, right? How we have to be establish the connection? Like here we have to be write string what is the database URL. You have to be write string database URL. Okay, is equal to, it is a default one, JDBC colon oracle colon thin. Okay, thin colon at the rate local host. So you have to be type it slowly, so you cannot do any mistakes while in typing. Okay, so colon 1521 it is a by default one, and which edition, express edition. So you have to be mentioned XC. Okay, and then close with uh, whatever this is, semicolon. Okay, now we have to be establish the connection for the username and password, right? So string, what is my username? We have to be mentioned here. Username, here in the double quotes. It is a, oh sorry, it is a system. And here semicolon. Now password. String password So whatever the password you will give, you just mention it. So I just mention here my password. And so here we have to be establish the connection. Now how to establish the connection? Connection call is equal to, see here we are getting the red color line. So what you will do, connection showing error, so it is not imported. It's an interface, like you have to do control shift plus o for organizing the imports. So try to practice this type of in the eclipse. And here I'm writing the driver manager dot get connection, right? So driver manager control space dot get connection. So this is the third one. So I want URL, username and password. So I'll select the third one. I selected and click on the tab, just cross verify username and password. Yes, everything is correct. So close with semicolon here. Close with semicolon. But here you can see the red color indication, right? So either you can just do this control shift plus O. Otherwise, you just put the cursor here and it's better. So it is not added here. Okay, so it is done. So here what it is saying, add throughs declaration. So I don't want to add the throughs declaration, and I am getting this red color thing, error, right? So why again I'm getting the error while calling the get connection method SQL throws exception, and it belongs to the checked exception category. So you need to either handle it or throw out to the caller, or propagate to the caller, right? So who is caller again? Main method is called main method, right? So main method is called from JVM, and who is the caller? JVM is the main method of the caller. So you can propagate this exception to the JVM. So how to do that? By using the throws keyword. So instead of writing this throws exception, what is the other thing I have? So I'll keep other option, like I'll keep this my code in the try block. Okay, here I will explain in the proper way how we have to be use this try and catch block is used to handle the exception, right? So how you have to do, you have to be right here. Okay, so here you can see in the catch block, connection here, you have to be right here. Connection I want to put it in the try block. Okay, in the close connection, and here you can just close this. Okay, now here I have mentioned it in the try block. Now after this what you have to do, you have to be like you have to be put this in the another statement, right? Statement st get the connection. How you will do that? So when you are trying to import, there is a ambiguity. How to create the statement object stmt? So when you import, there is an ambiguity, right? So how you will come across with that? Control shift plus o, which is nothing but organizing the imports. And there is two statements available. Okay, which one like you want to import interface from here? Let me just write it. Okay, here I will write it here only. Okay, so just a statement, I'll just mention this first. Statement, otherwise control shift, it is the, you got it right. So java.sql.statements, which is imported from the interface, which is an interface from the java.sql.statement. Here you can see in the fifth line. Okay, so now I'm creating the object stmt is equal to con dot create statement. Okay, so what is the con? dot create statement, close with semicolon. Okay, now input query, which is query is equal to, what is the query? String query is equal to what we are doing, select operation, right? So select the star from emp, you have to be mentioned this here. And how you will do that? String query. Okay, just write down here, string query is equal to, okay, string query is equal to which operations? Select operation, select star from which table? emp table. Okay, you have done this. Now you have just mentioned this in this query, like I told which method I have to call. Okay, execute query, and which method we have to call? Execute query. And execute query returns what? A result set object. Okay, what result set object will contain? It contains the rows. Okay, it also maintains a cursor, like last class we have discussed, right? In the last class we have discussed. And so let me just open that. Some, okay, so here what is the catch block? Catch block is used to handle the exception, am I right? So here we have to be mentioned in the catch block. Catch block is used to handle the exception. And how you will mention it here? Like this, catch sql exception, sql exception. And what is object? Ex, you have to be mentioned this, ex. And here in the catch block I want to print the stack trace method. And how do you the statement, like how means, I mean, how do you create the statement, object statement? When I'm trying to import, there is an ambiguity, right? So you have to do this, organizing the imports, control shift o, and there is a two statements available. And once you've done this, print stack trace ex dot, so let me just write here, ex dot, yes dot print stack trace. Okay, and here this is my result set object. So what you will do, like there is a two statements available, right, which you want to import interface from the java.sql statements here. So what are the two statements? Like here you have to be mentioned statement, you have already mentioned that stmt, uh, right? Now input query, so what is the input query? Like which query? String query, right? That we have already done this. In this query I told like which method I have to call? Execute query. So you remember, right? Execute query is used for the select operations that we have discussed in the last class. And execute query returns what? It returns a result set object. And what result set object will contain? It contains the rows. Okay, here you can see in this, it contains the rows. And like what it will do, it contains the records by calling the next method. Here you can see the next method. If we want to go to the first record, then rs dot next method we have to be use. Okay, so if the next record is available, then only we can, it returns the boolean value. If the next record is available, like this is the first record, right? 7456. And if 7102, so the next record is available. So on the time what it will do, it will go, this cursor is above the first record, below the heading columns. Okay, here the first place would be, and when it go to the first record, we have to use rs dot next method. In this rs dot next method, it will check one by one column. Rs dot get int, get string, get double. Okay, get int is nothing but the employee number. Okay, so how it is possible, like if it contains a boolean value, right? If the next record is available, then only it will returns the boolean value true. So second record is available, so it will return the value true. Okay, if there is no record, it won't move to the, it won't move. And it, there is third record is not available, so it is not moved to the cursor will be in the second row only, it will not move to the third. So if it returns, then it will give the value, it returns the false, because there is no record available, so that's why it will return false. And here, that's why you have to, you have mentioned here result set rs is equal to stmt dot execute query, and the string query that you have to be mentioned here. Now what you will do, we can use the loop, we can use the for loop also, like which is recommend, while loop is recommended. So why do you go for the, why do I have to be write the while loop instead of the for loop? Let me just explain this. Before that, I just want to display the records. Okay, before that, I just want to be display how many records is available in my select star from emp table. For that, I have to be right here syso. Okay, so I'll just write like this: select this records from the emp table. Okay, records from emp table. Okay, so I just want to get this line has to be print as it is. Okay, after that, what I will do, I'll go to my while loop. And what this while loop will do, while, let me just write it here, so it would be while it will go to the next record, right? So while dot next, so it contains the boolean value. Okay, now it contains here while statement, it will go to the next line. First, I want to be display the my employee number. I know what I, my first column names is, my first column name is emp number, as you can see here. Where is this SQL plus? Okay, so my first column is emp number, and my second column is emp name, which is nothing but string, and sal salary, higher date, joining date. Okay, dpt number. So what is the common method when you don't know the column? Okay, when you don't know the column, like to get, if it is a string, if it is a emp number, then obviously we will use the get int. If it is a string, then on the time we can use the get string. If it is a double, get double, rs dot get double, rs dot get date. Like that, we will use that methods. If we don't know on that time, like what is the common method when you don't know the column, on that time you have to be using get string, right? We have discussed this yesterday in detail. Okay, get string, you can pass the column number or the column intakes column name also. Okay, so column names are in, it is like a, or it is case insensitive. Sensitive means like it is fine that case sensitive means as it is we have to be right. Case sensitive means like uh, lowercase or uppercase, it would be fine, that won't be a problem. So like this, you have to be right syso. In this, like how many columns are there? Five columns, and you want to get that print. In my first record, I have the five columns. Here you can see this is your first record, 7456 cohort 6000, and some employee date and department number something. So you have to go to the one by one. For that, what is the object? Rs, and the first column is rs dot get int method you have to be use get int method. Here you can see we have used the rs dot get int method. For the next row, for the first row, rs dot next method we have used, and rs dot get int to go to the one by one column int string rs dot. So what is the object? Rs. Like this you have to be mentioned here. Okay, so rs dot for my first column is integer type. Integer, either you can mention the one or just mention in the double quotes employee number, right? emp number, like this, or just mention it one. That is also fine, no problem. If you mention one, then no need of double quotes. Okay, here I just want to give some space, so double space. And what is the next column? rs dot get string. Okay, employee name, right? rs dot get string. Here employee name, in the double quotes you have to be mentioned emp name. And third one is salary. So same thing, you have to be mentioned in the double space. Here plus symbol, what is that? rs dot get double. rs dot salary is a double value, no? So here, so just mention the column name and plus again double space plus what is that? rs dot fourth column is higher date, right? rs dot get date. Here column number 4, or you just mention the date like this in the double quotes date, no, date here plus and double space. What is the last column? Employee department number. So rs dot value get integer type, right? int. Here fifth column, just mention 5 and then ends with semicolon. Here so why you are getting this red color? You have to be like when you pass the get string method, like what I'm getting, let me just explain this connection statement connection. Okay, when you enter the try block, when I'm explaining, it is like a connection statement is entered into the try block and connection statement executed. Now my statement is executed and my string query is also executed. Okay, and it is sent to object through one, it will check the rows and it is done executed. Okay, at the time of the result statement, okay, when it is executing the query, maybe there is some mistake, I don't know, maybe the table does not exist. Because of this statement, the line of the code, okay, that line of the code when I am highlighting, okay, so what happened, there is a some exception occurred, okay, in this line of the code, exception occurs. So what will happen when exception occurs? The remaining statements, okay, sop, like you have in the while all those, tell me like what about the statements, will all the statements execute or does not execute? This below, like below while statement, while will not execute because there is an exception occurred at this line. Okay, so because of this exception, the code is not executing. So you can see 21 and 22. These lines are in the red color. Okay, so directly it will go to the where in the 28. Okay, so what happens to avoid those? What we will do? Then tell me the statement connection closed or not closed. It is not closed. Then which? What's the solution for this? Write this code. Okay, in the, like we have to be write this code in the finally block. So what will happen? We know that finally block will execute and irrespective of the occurred in the try block or does not occurred in the try block, so the connection is closed, right? So now tell me, these two statements I will move rs, and I will get this exception because I'm writing here while loop and printing this statement. Okay, so see here I haven't here. First you have to be close the connection rs dot close. Okay, now see here the again it is something the mistake we have done. So just cross check where we have is something is missed. Dot get int or just mention here dept number in the double quotes. Okay, so now again this error is occurring. On that time, what we have to do, we have to be like when I'm going to get this exception because I'm writing the while loop and printing the statement. I know that I want to close in which block, finally block. So let me write this finally block, which means before the catch block and after the catch block. So finally block will before the catch block or after the catch block, after the catch block. So let me just write this finally block here. Finally statement dot close here. Let me just write finally. So stmt, I just want to close the statement connection dot. Okay, now what con dot close method. Okay, so we have closed the connection, but still I am getting this type of error. So on the time what we have to do, like let me just, but here you can see 30 and 31 I'm getting the error. So see, I have to be declared this variable, see con, at least it's a variable applied the connection. Okay, statement is a variable which applied the applied statement, right? So where did I have to be declared them? In the try block, inside the try block. So if you declare any variable in the try block, so what is the scope of that variable? Visibility of that variable is that in that block, so that is in this block only. So can I use that variable in the finally block? No, I cannot use it. Okay, so what should I have to, if I declare this variable outside the try block? Okay, if I declare these variables outside the try block, okay, then these variables are going to be visible to also in the try block and outside of the try block, and also visible in my final block. Okay, so then how to declare these two variables in the outside the try block? How should I write this line? So here in the, you can see, let me just write it. How we have to be mentioned connection. Okay, connection con is equal to null. Here connection is equal to null. And what is my statement value, statement object creation, statement stmt is equal to null. So just, okay, so I have mentioned it in the outside of the try block. If you are getting any error, then why? Because you already declared. Okay, simply remove this connection and statement here. You just remove this. Okay, it's gone. In the 18th and 19th line, I have removed this one. Okay, because as we know, as we have declared inside the try block, we are getting the error. Now I declared outside the try block in the above the try block. Okay, so what I have done, I have declared it in the above the try block. So there is like we are, the error is escaped, means we are not getting. So simply remove. We have simply removed the connection and the statement. Okay, now I declared outside the try block, still getting the error, right? In the which line I'm getting the error? You can see this 24th line. On that time, what I'm using, like a while method, I'm using the close. And when this close method is called, it throws the SQL exception. And it belongs to the which category? Checked exceptions, right? So I must handle it or propagate. I'm not propagating. So what should I do if I want to handle it? Like inside the finally block, I need to be write it. So I have mentioned it in the try block, and I need to write it in the try block and catch. Like we have already done this. Need to be catch. Finally, like we have closed the statement dot close and statement dot connection. So just copy this and mention it in the catch word. Control. Okay, so where you have to be mention this within the try block here. I just mentioned here, but still I'm getting this error. No, in this case, what I have to do, and so let me just mention it here and try. I have to be mention it here again. Try statement. So how to do that? So like I'm writing the code in the different way. So what are the yesterday we have discussed like in the notepad, like it is I need to be when I need to be print is print stack trace, like what it is we know the method. And but what it will do, like it will so today, what we have to be do with this print stack test, tomorrow I will tell this answer. So today we are just writing the code in the different way. So what are the blocks which are included? Try and catch. Finally, do you find anything is missing out? Tell me, it comes at the runtime. Any guess? Like my question is for the instance. Okay, my control entered into the execution part. Okay, in this execution part. And what happens when it enters into the execution from the main method, all these lines are properly executed. Okay, and it entered in the try block. So what happened is some problem occurred in the con statement line. Okay, so in this some problem is occurred in the con statement line. So the problem is because of the URL or the username or password. Okay, maybe it is wrong. Okay, so there is some problem occurs URL or password, just assuming. So maybe it is wrong we have written, or means what will happen? Obviously it shows the class not found exception. So because the class not found, if we don't add the, it will happens because we don't, if we don't add the jar file, but we will add it. Okay, so tell me what happened if the problem occurred at the connection statement, con statement. Okay, so connection will not established because of the statement is not executed, right? So because the statement is not executed, so the connection will not execute. So on that time, the exception occurred. So where does the control will go? From the try block con line. Okay, the control will go to the try block con line, and first it will go to the catch block. So the control, it will go to the catch block, and that control is moved to the try line. trial and catch block. So this catch block is executed, then where does the control will go? In the finally. Okay, so it will go to the finally statement. It will go to the finally statement. On that time, what we have to be right, we have to be mention the this, let me just write it to go to the statement dot close. So that's why we have to be mention it in the finally block. So let me just mention here try block. Okay, so what is that? stmt dot close. Okay, so I have mentioned now con dot close, or you can just simply copy paste, it will work. Yes, I have done this. Here you have to be close the print structures. So before going to there, so what is my question here? Okay, so as what the value of the statement? Null, right? So you can see there is a statement value is null, and so it is a null pointer exception. If you have a variable like with null value, when you call some method on it, so what exception will be thrown? Null pointer exception. So let's see in the code where the catch block is handle the null pointer exception. Okay, do we have any such kind of code? Like tell me what is missing in the point number one. We also need to handle the null pointer exception. If we don't handle it, then it will give the exception. What is that other option? Then we will put this it into the if condition. If it is not null, then we have to be close it. If it is a null, we need to be close it. So tell me if condition, if I write now. Okay, now instead of writing the catch block to handle the null pointer exception, what are what I have to mention? I have to write the if condition. I can write means in the try block. Okay, what I can write? If statement not equal to null, then stmt close. If okay, so I will write like this. If how in the try block. Here I have to be right. If statement stmt not equal to null, then it will print statement dot close. And if stmt here not equal to null, then what it will print? Connection. It will close the connection. Okay, so I have to be right here the catch block. And how will I do that? I will write here. Okay, catch sql exception, sql exception and ex. Okay, so what is that? Ex dot print stack trace. I have to, what is the object in ex dot print stack trace, right? So I have mentioned it here. Now what I will do, I can so I have mentioned. So because now let's run this code. So to avoid the null pointer exception. Okay, so let me do this here. Here again it is something I have done here. So just I just want to get this print instead of doing this because it's showing too much big line. So what I will do, I just want to get this print only the two columns first. So my first column is nothing but get int, and my second column is name, employee name. Okay, so do this control s. Okay, so you can see here everything we have done, and let me just try to run this program. Okay, and how you will do that? If I directly click that, right click, run as Java application. So invalid column name. So something I have mentioned here, invalid column name. Okay, so I'll just mention here. What is this? EMP number. First column name is EMP number and E name. EMP number. It is a string, right? So get string. rs dot get string. What is that? You can either mention two, or if you want to cross check, you can cross check. And before going to that, we have to be add the jar files. It is already added, but let me just show you how to do this. Just right click on the project. Okay, so go to the build path, configure build path, and here you have to go to the libraries. Okay, if you have all, add jars, add external jars. And as it is already added, so let me just click on apply and close. Okay, so I have done this. Now I want to get it execute, or okay, so right click, run as Java application. Here you can see. So this is, even though if I write the employee number or the column number, so this is my second column right here. This is a, instead of e name I just mention here value 2. So that's why we got the employee number and get string method. So how many records you want to get it print? So you can get it print. So I have selected all the rows records from the emp table. So that's why it showed the all the records in the emp table. And hope you got this one. Okay, okay. And you also know how to add the jar files, how to do the build path. Okay, that which we have already seen in the last class. Okay, so these are the two records we have like inserted in our emp table. Okay, so first record and the second record. So what is the difference from the yesterday program and this? Like yesterday also we have written the same code, and today also the same code we have written. So what is the difference? Like there is manually in that, in yesterday, like we have handled it manually. The exceptions in the eclipse we handle it manually, and the exceptions through the same thing that there also here we have used through try, catch, and finally blocks. So which is better, propagating the exception or just yesterday we have wrote like throws exception. So throws like exception or handling the exception. Okay, and like try try and catch is better, or which one? Hopefully, so we give the most our preference to this, right? Handling the exceptions through our try and catch block only. And hopefully it's depends on our it is always depends on the like how you will choose. So and always it is like a developer's responsibilities or the programmer's responsibilities to handle the exceptions. So always we need to be remember the throws exception is not the good way to writing the code. In very rare cases we can do that, otherwise we can handle them by using the try and catch finally block. So it is a good way. So hope you understood this. and suppose my table name is emp, and I have the 5 columns. Okay, example. So are those, suppose there is a table and I don't know like how many columns are there. Okay, in notepad, when you open, okay, so let me just open the notepad. And if I don't know like how many columns are there here, on that time, how do I print it? For example, rs dot, so let me just open the here only. Okay, so what I will do, for example, rs dot get int. So if it is an integer type value, then get int, rs dot get int 1 or 2 3 4. Only 4 columns are there. So on that time, what I will do, rs dot get int, rs dot get int, I just show you, right? Okay, it's not type. Rs dot get int, so it is a numerical value. So if I will mention like this, if I don't know, so column names I don't know, so that's why I just mention rs dot, and then it will go to the space. Second column, I don't know, it is an employee name or it is a salary. On that time, rs dot, it is a fourth column, so get date or get int or string, rs dot. Okay, rs dot get string, like this we have to be mentioned, get string. If it is employee number, then you have to be mentioned the emp name. If you don't know that is a string value, it is emp name or date, you don't know, on that time you just mention the get int, which column, fourth column, right? So like this you have to be mentioned. So I- I'm trying to print the fifth column, then what you will do, you have to be just mention here 5 in place of 4. So I'll get the exception, and because that is a string value or date value. So what is the solution for this? There is a solution. When you don't have any idea about the structure of the table, then the JDBC API has provided an object through which you can collect the data. So that's called the result set metadata. Okay, so let's discuss this. You know about the metadata, right? So we know like meta is nothing but, like, who is meta? Facebook, WhatsApp belongs to the meta. So what is meta? And data about the data is metadata, out of which we cannot get anything, right? Anything we cannot, we don't understand, like what is it doesn't make any sense. For the instance, some variables, okay, there the variable has to be stored at the count of the object of a class. Something I'm writing, okay, static int count. Okay, static int count, so something I'm writing here. How to like, why you writing this comment? Okay, so something I'm just writing something in the comment, that which is which does not affect to the program, like variable is used to store the value. So it is nothing but, what is static int count, the variable which is used to store the value, it's nothing but value. So that comment is, that comment is what now, this comment is your, so whatever, okay, in this lines, so this comments is nothing but metadata. So because it is telling, or it's describing the data about the data. So what is the variable that is store the value? Okay, so that we have just mentioned it in the double quotes, or the value which is stored, that indicates the metadata. So this comment is a data or description. So it's telling about the count. So what is the count? Like, okay, the variable stores some data. In this, count is 8 or 4 or 7. Okay, so it is telling like the data. So to write metadata in Java, when you want to write the metadata, okay, in Java there are three ways of doing it. So with comments, first one, that which we have seen with comments. With example, with xml we haven't seen, so with example we will see. And with annotation. So these are the three ways of doing, like writing the metadata. Okay, so in comments we know obviously. And you may write, or your id may give at the rate override even you're writing the core java. You know about this one, right? In java inheritance program, like you are overriding in the base class, then in the derived class overriding or overloading these principles of the concept in which oriented programming, like inheritance and polymorphism, that we have already known. Now, at the rate override, automatically you are getting 1. So this is also known as the metadata, because it is telling that, okay, it is telling that you are overriding parent class method in child class. So this child class method, okay, is a overridden of the child class method, who is telling that at the rate override, and this is called annotation. In how many ways in the java code you can write and describe the metadata? In three ways: by writing the comments, and second one is example xml, and third one is annotation. So we will discuss this in the later, like beyond the topics which we are going to do. Okay, so tell me how to find, how many columns is exist in the table, like what are the types of columns they are, like if I want to find the schema. Okay, then we have the option in JDBC. Okay, to any results at metadata, what is the purpose? Later tomorrow we will see that what are the methods in it, and how to create the object. It will just take the 10 minutes. Okay, like to understand, for the prepared statement, JDBC API is given the three types of statements, right? So what are the three types of statements? Here you can see statement, a statement prepare. We have just seen these statements. Now we have to be see two more: prepared statement and the callable statement, which we are going to be see this tomorrow. Okay, so how you have to be run this, run java application. So you will get the, we have just mentioned the only two record in the records. How many records are the? Six records. Okay, in the six records, like we just mentioned the employee name and rs dot, this is a integer type and this is a string type, so we have mentioned it here. Rs dot get int employee number, and rs dot get string. So we just got the two. If you want the other three columns also, you just mention plus rs dot get double and get date, like that. Okay, so hope this is clear, and we'll stay in the next class. Thank you.